Hello, I'm Andrew Meerman from the University of Leeds.
Hello, I'm Danielle Guizzo from the University of Bristol.
Welcome to this Economics Network video about Adam Smith's relevance to teaching economics today. If you've already watched the video about productive labour, you'll have seen how Smith's work can be applied to understanding current wage differentials. In this video, we'll discuss how his work relates to a key concept in understanding the household, as developed by feminist economics, and that's reproductive labour. So as discussed in the previous video, productive labour is that which generates value and therefore contributes to growth, whereas unproductive labour may have worth, but doesn't directly produce value. So Danielle, how might this be applied to the concept of reproductive labour?
So reproductive labor was also one of Smith's concepts that he discussed in his work. So he defined what productive labor is and how that generates value, and that's important for growth and the wealth of nations, and he contrasted that with unproductive labor. However, he also had this idea of reproductive labor, which is the work, or let's say the tasks and all the labor that it's being done within households that are important for the sustenance of workers. So for them to be taken care of, well fed, rested, so they can engage in the labor market and engage in productive activities.
And is this something that you've explored in class?
It is. So the concept of reproductive labor that Smith already brought up in his works can be related to very recent discussions that we have in economics today with the feminist economists. So feminist economists, they bring discussions related to norms and discrimination in the labor market, the gendered division of labor, the dual labor market models, or even the invisibility of certain functions in the care economy. And this relates very directly to what Smith was already discussing with reproductive labor. And this is something that we can discuss in class. So I give students a piece of reading about feminist economists and this idea of reproductive labor and care. And then we can relate back to Adam Smith's quotes and his discussions.
So Smith already recognised that. We can see that in the quote on the screen now, can't we?
Exactly. So it is very interesting because not only Smith acknowledged that work and considered it to be very necessary for the support of the economy, but he also emphasized the necessary wage for social reproduction. So he emphasized that workers and households and families, they require an important and substantial amount to be paid for. So for them to be maintained and for them to have, let's say, a quality of life so they could be prepared and taken care of so they can enter the labor market.
So Smith's kind of recognising that children are, in a way, potential productive labour and therefore the source of future growth. So that's very interesting. Great. So how else have you used this in class then?
So besides discussing the concept of reproductive labor, necessary wage, discrimination, or even human capital formation, we can also think about what this represents for reproductive labor today and how we think about household dynamics and gendered labor divisions. So for instance, we can see from the slide that even within households and the household decisions and dynamics, men and women have, let's say, a different division of labor in terms of reproductive labor tasks, in terms of cooking, transportation, housework, and so on. So we can also see how that the family division. But there's a very nice tool that I recommend to use in class with students, which is created by the Office for National Statistics in the UK, which is a sort of a calculator where students can enter the time and the tasks that they do in their house, and then they can see how much unpaid work they spent every week. So this amount is calculated through a market price replacement. So how much it would cost for you to hire a person to do all the things that you do in your own house. And this would give you an amount of how much unpaid work you do every week. And this generates a very interesting discussion between students because we can see that certain groups of students with different backgrounds, different families, cultures, genders, they have also different divisions of unpaid work.
Well, that sounds great. Let's hope it doesn't cause too many rows in student houses. So I think overall, again, we've shown that Smith's work on productive labour and unproductive and indeed reproductive labour can give us a really good springboard to thinking about contemporary issues of labour and production, including that in the household. So hopefully you'll find that as rich as we have. If you've not watched our video about Smith and the concept of productive labour, please take a look and follow this link.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.